Hey, it's a beautiful rainy Thursday when I'm filming this, and I think it's pretty great. So I'm just going to go ahead and recommend that you only watch this video on beautiful rainy Thursdays. If it's like Friday or Tuesday or something, you're just going to have to pause on this video. Leave the tab open, pause on the video, and come back to it the next time it's Thursday and also raining and gorgeous outside. Um, unless you are pressed to find out about pronouns. And if you like real bad need to find out about pronouns, just go ahead and let it play. Okay, we'll just do it. Because recently I was telling you guys about personal pronouns and what they are, but I only got into the forms of the first person I pronoun and the second person you pronoun. I didn't get into the third person, and the reason is just that there's a lot more forms of the third person, right? So if you don't know what I mean by the third person pronoun, I'm talking about he, she, it, unless it's plural and then it's they. At least that's what it is in English. Of course, in Latin, it's going to be in Latin, which is to say is, id. This is what corresponds to he, she, it. And then, of course, they have plural forms that would mean they. Um, yeah, so like I was saying in the last video about pronouns, pronouns have cases. It's not always just going to be the nominative ise, id. If that were all it was, then we would just learn them as vocab words and we wouldn't have to talk about the grammar of pronouns. They would just be vocab words. And part of the reason why I want to get this video out as I am is because already we're having pronouns show up in the book, just like we did for the first and second person pronouns. The book has not explained them, they're just throwing them in there, and already I've had people ask questions about them. Even the last, I think, 2 times that we read together, people were like, oh, what's this word? I'm like, oh, that's a pronoun, but the book didn't tell you about that. Specifically, the last time somebody asked about it, it was, I think it was eos that somebody asked about, because that was in our text, and it means them, because it is the object form of is. So anyway, point being is this is actually the masculine of the pronoun. This is the pronoun he or they if it's plural. But like I said, it comes in every case. And the wild thing about it is that some of these look exactly like the nouns that we already know. Like the plural forms over here have the exact same endings as any like second declension plural noun. The singular side, though, doesn't. For one, the nominative looks a little different from most of our nouns. Is, and then the genitive is eos and the dative ei. Those don't exactly look like a lot of nouns that we know. But am and ao do, right? Truth be told, as a caveat for the future, there are actually some nouns that behave this way, but there aren't very many of them, and none of you guys in Latin 1 know them. If you're not in Latin 1, maybe you do. So we've got eus and a here in the genitive and dative, and the reason why I'm belaboring that point, like this is he and this is of him and to or for him, the reason why I really want to belabor what the genitive and dative look like is because if you go over here to the feminine, they look exactly the same. This is a feature of pronouns, is that most of the pronouns have datives and genitives that look the same no matter what gender you're in. And the rest of the forms do look slightly different, right? You have ea instead of is, ayam, ayan. If you're one of those people who's into long marks, that is a long a down in the ablative, just like you'd expect with a noun like wila or puella. But yeah, the genitive and the dative are exactly the same as they were in the masculine, eus and ei, right? The dative and ablative plurals are also the same and also have that long is, but that's really not a surprise because that's something that we already know about the first and second declension too. They, no matter what gender it is, they all end in long is's there in the dative and ablative plural. So, and again, when you look at the plural side over here in general, it looks like stuff that we already know. It looks like the plurals of any first declension noun. But yeah, you get this weird thing with the genitive and dative. And you know what? It looks the same in the neuter too, right? This is the neuter form, so that means it. And again, the forms are slightly different, right? You have id instead of is. You have id in the accusative because all neuters have to have nominatives and accusatives that match. But yeah, like this genitive and dative thing, right? Eos and ei, it's the same no matter what gender they're in, which is kind of a wild thing. But yeah, that's all I want to say. That's just your pronouns, he, she, and it. I should also add that you're actually not going to see these pronouns super often. I mean, obviously you have seen some of these forms, mostly the accusative ones, And you will see them again, but you're actually not going to see these forms nearly as often as you would if this were English. In English, we actually use the pronouns he, she, and it, whether it's in the nominative form he, she, and it, or the object form him, her, and it. We use them way more often than the Romans do. Um, when it comes to pronouns in Latin, there actually is a different pronoun they're going to use a lot more that we're going to learn about later. But since these are already showing up now, and since some people are having questions about them now, now is a great time to go ahead and just knock this one out. All right, I'll see you guys. Actually, for some of you in Latin 1, I'll see you in a few minutes. But, obviously you're going to watch this video later, so bye!